In this video, some of the biggest rock stars in the world warn fans about touring and what's really going on. First up is Al Jourgensen, famous producer and musician from the band Ministry.
Only hour and a half, well today 45 minutes of peace that I have is doing my damn shows. The other 23 and a half hours or 22 and a half hours suck. This job sucks. Don't ever be a lead singer or grow up wanting to be one, because you're in for a life of misery.
Now, I wouldn't go as far as saying it's a life of misery, but it is true. The best part of touring is playing live and connecting with fans, hearing how your songs have impacted their lives. How do you put a price on that? But I want to know in the comments below, why do you want to tour? Why do you want to play live? Next up is Tom Araya, best known as the lead vocalist and bassist for the band Slayer.
When we started off, everything was great because you're young and invincible. I became a family man. I had a tough time flying back and forth. At this stage, or at the level we're at now, I can do that. I can fly home when I want to, and on days off, and spend some time with my family, which is something I wasn't able to do when they were growing up.
When Tom said feel invincible, it made me think about the overnight drives just trying to get to the show on time, or the red-eye flights either to the show or just to get home so you can have a few more hours with family before you're packing bags again and then you're leaving. But now Tom talks about as you get older, what do you do?
It's just getting harder and harder to come back out on the road. 35 years is a long time. I had neck surgery, so I can't headbang anymore. I got 3 vertebrae, they're fused. Like, and I got lower back issues. Like Gary's got lower back issues and hip issues.
All guitar players, that's the price you pay.
When he says that's the price you pay, it makes me think about a few things. One, being away from my family, anniversaries, weddings, not being with my wife, but the toll it takes on your physical body, especially as you get older. When I was younger, even touring, I wasn't eating that healthy and I bounced back pretty quick. I remember we'd get sick a lot because number one, not eating well, not sleeping well, not getting exercise, just getting worn down. But I also want you to think about the long term of when you can't tour anymore. Like if touring is the only way you can make an income and provide for your family, when you get older and can't do that anymore, how are you going to still pay the bills? Now, hopefully you've made a bunch of money, you've invested and whatnot, but do you own the rights to your music? And this is why I always say to artists, you need to understand the music business. And I really encourage you guys to get my book, The Truth About the Music Business, so that you know how to monetize your music and have a long-term career. Next up is one of my favorite bands growing up, is Tom DeLonge from the band Blink-182.
The worst thing about tour is you wake up and it's 12 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You walk out of the bus and it goes from 60 degrees to about 105 degrees and humid, and it's so bright you feel like you're on the surface of the sun. You smell nothing but diesel fumes. Nothing of the sort. There will be a cinder block room with fluorescent lights, and they'll say your dressing room's not set up yet. And then you kind of just look at everything and you walk right back to your bus.
Yeah.
And then you wait for another 5 hours.
It is straight up like Groundhog Day if you haven't seen that movie. The same thing over and over again. But one of the reasons why it's so easy to sleep in is because normally the tour buses are like blacked out and you got your curtains, so it's really like dark, so it's easier to sleep, and it's also pretty cold. And then if you're driving through the night, sometimes the bus is rocking you to sleep. Next up is Suicide Silence and why they love touring so much.
The worst thing about touring.
Being on tour. No, the worst thing about tour, not having a lot of alone time. Being always in the presence of someone else at all times.
Really don't like people too much. I don't like to be around people, and it's kind of ironic that in this occupation. And so I'm doing this, A, because I like to write songs and I like to record them. And B, it's an escape for me. It's a way out of it at the end, so I don't have to do it anymore.
I'll never forget going from just touring alone to touring with my wife, which was awesome, and then a DJ, just like one other person that was fine. And then finally, all of a sudden, I'm in a trailer, in a van and trailer, on a tour bus with a whole bunch of guys. I'll never forget my wife's reaction when it was just like the two of us, to all of a sudden all these smelly guys on tour and bands and just all the attitudes and different things that go with it. I remember when my wife was like, I'm done with this, and she decided to stay home, and now I'm out, and I can't even fully afford my own hotel room, so I'm sharing a hotel room, let alone sharing a bed with another guy, and it was just that pressure and just not having that quiet time to think. So you just got to know what you're trading your life for here. Yeah, there's so many ups, but there's also downs, and that's why you got to ride it out. And that's why I got Corey Taylor from the band Slipknot and Stone Sour to share his stories and some of the crazy stuff he went through.
Ozfest is a real tour, but they take care of you. Like, there's food, there's bathrooms, and we were literally living off of about 20 bucks a week. We each had like 20 bucks a week, so we learned to love dollar sandwiches at like the 7-Eleven. We'd steal like all the out of the venues. Like, somebody would leave a box of like the vending machine chips, that would disappear.
When you're on tour as a new band, it is literally survival mode. But I'll never forget being on tour in August, and it was smoking hot. And we're about to go on in like 10 minutes, and I gotta go to the bathroom. And there ain't no nice bathroom, and I gotta do my business. And so I'm finishing up in here, doing what I gotta do, and I hear my drummer start the intro music. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I like run out on stage, and thank God this was not the show where I had toilet paper hanging out of my jeans. I'll save that for another video.